everyone, welcome back. My name is Monique Renewed, and in this video I'll be talking about the reason why I quit my job. So just to give you some background information, I used to be a pharmacy technician for a call center. So you take phone calls from doctor's offices, pharmacies, patients, the works, and you do prioritization requests and stuff like that. It can get pretty stressful because you have to be in a position where you tell people no a lot, and that comes down to their medication and such. And yeah, so just know it's kind of a stressful environment, I guess, depending on the type of person that you are. But this first started for me one day. I was, working, and I took a phone call from somebody, and I don't know why, but I got really upset after the phone call. For whatever reason, the person made me upset. So I'm leaving work, and I'm driving to go pick up my son. And at this point, I'm in the car, and I am bawling my eyes out, like to the point where I'm crying and I'm yelling at God. I tell him, I hate it here, and I need you to get me out of here. Straight like that. I was just at my wit's end. I was done. I had gotten my bachelor's degree during the time, just anticipating the fact that I wasn't going to be there forever. And I was applying job after job after job after job after, like literally every time something happened, I would apply for another job, and nothing was happening. I did not get one phone call. So I'm like, what is going on? I can't be here forever. So, but nothing was happening. So anyway, so some time had passed, and at this time I didn't even have a relationship with God yet. I believed in him, but there was no relationship there. But he still heard me. So moving on, after some time, in November, my friend had invited me to a lunch, particularly for mothers. So I said, okay, I'll go. So I went, and there was this particular speaker that was there. When she was explaining her situation, she was talking. It really captivated me, but I forgot about the details of her story. But basically, she was saying that she basically used to work for the corporate world and just decided to go after her dreams, and here she is now. So I felt inspired, but so some time moves on, and for some reason after that event, I could not stop thinking about the speaker. For whatever reason, like every day I would think about her. I'm just like, what is this going on? Like, what is going on? I have never experienced something like this before. Why do I keep thinking about her? But then in retrospect, now I understand that it was God who was planting her in my heart to contact her. So I woke up one morning, I'm just like thinking about her again. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna find who this lady is, because for some reason I'm supposed to be contacting her or something. Like, I felt like I'm going to encounter her again. So I'm looking through this goodie bag that they gave us at the event to try to find her. Mind you, I didn't even know who this lady is or what her name was. I forgot her name. So I don't even know what I'm looking for. So I'm looking through the pages of the sponsors. I'm like, I don't know. None of these names ring a bell really. So I almost quit. So I'm like, I can't find this lady. How am I supposed to find her? So I'm just like, okay, let me look on the event's website. So I tracked down the website, and boom, I found who I was looking for. And then I went on the speaker's website, and I was like really shook. Her description was something to the effect of, she helps people find their God-given purposes and their dreams. Now, the reason why I was shocked was because New Year's, I had prayed like, I'm telling you, I have prayed like I had never prayed before after that incident on that phone call. I said, I want to find my purpose in life. I know that this is not it. And then I kept thinking about her, and that's what she does. So I'm like, oh, wow, that was answered. So I start my coaching lessons with her around February, March, and this is around the time frame where I really started taking my relationship with God seriously, and I started learning more about who he was. So basically she extracted the gifts that were already inside of me this whole time, but I never came to the realization never realized I even had any gifts. But the thing is, everybody does. So basically we came together with this purpose statement, and it's to use my gifts of supporting others, critical thinking, and life management skills to guide people using the Word of God. And we came up with my my outlets of how I was going to do this, and basically through my blog website, YouTube, and through books. So I said, okay, cool. Mind you, I'm still working at my job as a pharmacy technician, but during this time, I'm really learning a lot of lessons, and I'm really digging deep in my relationship with God, and I feel like there's a change that's taking place. Even my husband noticed that I'm not complaining as much at my job. I'm getting less frustrated, but it's so apparent that I don't want to be there anymore. So I'm still here, and I'm still learning, but I knew better not to quit until God was going to release me. And in the back of my head, yeah, I have this purpose, but for some reason I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's going to release me to another office type job. I don't know. So there was this one day in June where this YouTuber named Tracy J, she used to do conference calls. So I would, check into the conference call every once in a while, or rather consistently, actually. Maybe I missed like one conference call. And the only people that are on this call are her prayer leader named Ashley, me, and there was another person on the conference call, but they weren't even speaking. I don't know, maybe if, even when Morgan addressed her, she wasn't saying anything. So maybe she left the call but forgot to disconnect it, so we can still see that she was there, but she actually wasn't. So Morgan starts talking about how God impressed on her to talk about the story of Ruth. So she starts talking about the story of Ruth, and she says that Ruth stayed in her field, received favor, blessings, and protection until God opened the door for her. And I kid you not, I write in my journal what Morgan says. She says, keep working in that field until God opens the door and calls you to move. I wrote it down in my journal. I didn't know that it was actually pertaining to a future situation. So 3 days later, I decide to go to this this meeting or conference or whatever about procrastination. And I meet this person and that was like a whole crazy situation in itself. And it's like so many details that I can't even explain all in the video, all in the blog post, but I'm trying to sum up everything here. And so she starts describing this dream that she has. And she says she's at a pharmacy and she's trying to turn in all these overdue books. And I'm like, what? She doesn't even know I'm a pharmacy technician. So I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I'm a pharmacy technician. And she was like, well, you're the person in my dream. And I was like, oh my goodness, what is going on here? So we find out we have like a lot of things in common. And, several days go by and we exchange numbers. Several days go by and I'm still at my job. But one day I am just so miserable. I'm in my head at this point. I'm like, okay, how long do I have to be here? I'm thinking maybe I have to be here for another year because at this point I'm trying to get my master's degree as well. So I'm like, okay, this job is kind of convenient so I can get my master's degree. So maybe I have to be here longer. until I finish my degree. And I start getting even more upset. I'm like thinking to myself, how long do I have to be here? So I try to brush it off. I try to push it to the back, and I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna, whatever, it's okay. And I'm starting to get each call that's coming in, I'm getting even more upset and more upset. And I could feel it like bubbling up inside of me. It's like I want to cry so bad, but it's like hold it in. And then I can hear God saying, talk to me. I heard him say, talk to me, pray. And I refuse to do it. I'm like, it's okay, I'm fine. I'm just keep working. I'm gonna keep taking these phone calls. And I just blew over like nobody. I'm sitting here on the phone crying, trying to take these phone calls. And people are probably like on the other end of this phone, like, what is wrong with this girl? Why is she like on the verge of tears? Like you can hear it in my voice. I'm just laughing back on it now, seeing how a simple conversation would have just released all this frustration that I had. But for some reason, I like to hide things in the back of my head. So anyways, I refused to talk about it until I eventually did talk about it. So the next day, the girl that I met texted me and asked me if I was all right. And I'm just like, yeah, well, I'm not doing so good. She was like, yeah, I know. And then she texted me this video link, and then she asked me if I've been journaling. And I click on the video, and the video was titled, "It's Time to Make a Move." And I watched the video, and basically the underlying message was, when you're called to greater things, but you're staying in the same place that you are, even though you're not supposed to be there. And Pastor Keon said, anyone who does not appreciate your presence should deserve your absence. And I said, so you want me to quit my job? I was like, and do what? What am I supposed to do? You know, for money, you know, I got a house, I got a child, I got a husband. What am I supposed to do? I did it anyways. I took a leap of faith. There was a lot of stuff that happened in between that. It was kind of a rocky situation, but I just did it. And here I am now. It took me a while to come to the realization that I'm supposed to be doing this, my purpose, in which she's already revealed to me. But I'm stuck in my head thinking I'm supposed to be doing another job with an income attached to it. So I'm like in deep confusion at this point. But I finally did it. And so at one point I kept wondering why she was asking me if I was journaling. So I'm like, why she asked me that? And then it was just like this aha moment came over, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was that conference call. So I flipped back to my journal to where Morgan said, keep working in that field until God opens the door and calls you to move. The video title that she sent me was called, It's Time to Make a Move. I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening here? Okay, so obviously it's time to go. So I put in my 2 weeks notice on June the 14th. This was probably one of the hardest things I have ever done in my life. And this is still not easy, but I just did it anyways. So my last day was on June the 28th. And I'm writing, you know, this was after I quit my job. I'm writing in my journal. I'm like, June 28th. This date looks really familiar. The 28th portion. So I look back in my journal, my old journal actually, and I'm like, February 28th. Something happened that day, and I wrote it down. So that night when I was sleeping, this was just so funny. That night, 4 months prior, that night when I was sleeping on February 28th, I had the strangest encounter. I'm sleeping and I wake up all of a sudden, but my eyes are still shut, and I can feel my ears shutting. And it's almost as if to say, like, for me to hear more clearly what's about to happen. It's weird. So, and I hear him say, and this is audibly, I can hear it, "Go run and tell the good news." And that was on February 28th. June 28th was my last day of work. So, yeah, that's how I knew it was kind of like meant to be, just because of that. And there's like a whole bunch of details that I had to leave out because I can't possibly include everything in this video or in a blog. So maybe I'll write a book about it. Who knows? Anyways, don't forget to watch my last video on the time I thought I was bisexual. And follow me on my social media platforms, which is going to be at Monique Renewed. And I'll link it down below. Thanks for watching. Bye.